Here it comes. Winter on the East Coast. It's volatile, brutal, and very hard to predict. Maryland is nearly bullseyed in a zone where dry, cold Canadian air collides with the warm and moisture-rich air flowing from the southern states and the Gulf Stream waters. When the jet stream moves overhead, it can produce powerful storm systems, bringing snow, ice, and frigid cold.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali, and I'm here to give you the forecast for what I'm expecting here in Maryland this winter, and also breaking down the science of the season.
Last winter, BWI Marshall, the official reporting site for Baltimore, measured a total of just 12.7 inches of snow, which was well below the 30-year average of 21.2 inches.
Now, my winter forecast made last November, almost 2 months before the first snow was even measured, was less than 1 inch off that mark at 13.5 inches. In the weather forecast world, that's a near center bullseye. But our whole team was also very accurate with individual storms.
We correctly forecasted and verified 5 out of the 6 winter storm systems we experienced. Can we make it another winter with this kind of accuracy? We certainly hope so, but it's never an easy feat. So, what do we normally see each winter? It's hard to find a normal winter, as we're often significantly above or below the averages. Baltimore has never had a winter without measurable snow, but 3 out of the 5 least snowy seasons we've ever had happened in the last 15 years. Does an early start to winter mean a busy winter? History has shown that an early first snow doesn't necessarily mean tons of snow for the season, and a late first snow doesn't always mean we will see very little. So the very first snow is not a really good indicator of what is to come.
Long-range forecasting can be very difficult to be both correct and precise beyond about 10 days. It's a very distant target to try to hit.
It's just like archery. It's not too hard to hit a bullseye with a target just 1 foot away. But if you're hundreds of feet away, well, your aim won't be so precise. So the target has to be larger. But as Grandpa always said, it doesn't take much skill to hit the broadside of a barn. So it's easy to be accurate if you don't have to be precise.
So why is long-range forecasting so difficult? Well, the problem, there's just not the technology to measure every bit of the incredibly massive and complex 3D atmosphere above us, and neither does the computer power to calculate it all.
It would be like trying to use math and physics to accurately calculate exactly when and where just one particular bouncy ball would land in the chaos of hundreds falling down a flight of stairs.
It's very hard, but there are some that like to at least give it a try. The old Farmer's Almanac. Some people swear by it for their long-range outlooks, but I hate to burst the bubble. While the almanac claims an 85% accuracy, many recent studies show it's actually only 52% accurate, making it unreliable for precise long-term forecasts when compared to modern meteorology. So it's not much better than a coin flip.
The atmosphere is a giant puzzle of big and small patterns all over the world with nearly infinite complexity and layers. The way those puzzle pieces will fit together in the future can paint a hazy picture at best and only show forecasters if it's going to be a stormy and wet winter out west while it stays cold and dry out east. Getting more specific than that is still halfway a shot in the dark. There are still so many misunderstood and undiscovered pieces to the puzzle. But here are some of the pieces we know about and how they could influence our winter. El Niño, or its opposite, La Niña.
Neither of them are big storms, but they can certainly be big drivers of big storms. Now, El Niño is something that is actually just warmer than average waters off the equatorial Pacific Ocean. And these are driven by weaker trade winds blowing to the west. Now, if those winds increase, or stronger trade winds, that causes what we say is upwelling, or when cold ocean water rises to the surface, leading to cooler than average waters. And all of this is connected, believe it or not, to weather across the entire world. For here in the eastern and mid-Atlantic, what we will see are warmer than average winters and sometimes slightly wetter than average winters.
The infamous Snowmageddon winter in 2010 buried Baltimore in 3.5 feet deep of snow and crippled much of the mid-Atlantic. We had 77 inches that winter season, and all this happened during a strong El Nino period. But we are currently in a weak La Nina period, and it's expected to remain in this phase through January before a return to a neutral phase in February into March. This can mean warmer than average winters in the mid-Atlantic. So no strong El Nino this season means no big snow, right? Well, it's not that simple. Because we've had wildly different totals year to year during La Nina winters, there's much more at play than just El Nino and La Nina. Another big piece of the puzzle is the NAO, or the North Atlantic Oscillation.
Now, the NAO are actually the changes in the strengths of two pressure systems in the atmosphere over the North Atlantic Ocean. And what we can see right here is the NAO going into negative mode. This is when the pressure systems will actually weaken and allows a much wavier jet stream. Now, this can send shots of colder air into the northeastern United States.
The NAO is currently in a positive mode, but I'm expecting it to switch to the negative mode at the end of each month, which could increase cold air shots during those time periods. So I predict this will mean better chances for snow this season at the end of December, January, and February.
The next pattern is rather infamous, the polar vortex, but it goes by a more technical name called the Arctic Oscillation. It's just a huge swirling pool of frigid Arctic air over the North Pole, but when that swirling weakens or goes into negative mode, it can allow some of that cold air to expand southward into the United States, leading to the coldest outbreaks all winter. I'm forecasting the AO to stay mostly positive to begin the winter season, but look for a moderately negative phase from late December through the middle of January, which would likely send 1 or 2 outbreaks of very cold air into the region.
And when both the AO and NAO are in the negative phase together, we often see a major cold surge into the eastern U.S. So what's the forecast for this winter?
All right, science class is over. So here's my full winter prediction. I predict slightly below average this winter season. I'm expecting temperatures to end up just 1.5 degrees below average with 1 to 2 significant blasts of very cold air at the end of January. And we could see 1 significant storm, but at the end of the season, I think we're actually going to end up with around 17.5 inches of snow. And the total liquid equivalent, including rain and snow melt, I'm forecasting at 7.25 inches. So there you have it. But remember, meteorology is still a young and very imperfect science. But as stock traders, economists, and sports lovers will tell you, predicting the future just a week in advance is hard, even with all the data in the world at your fingertips. But sunshine or snowstorm, your weather authority will keep you weather aware this winter. For Fox 45, I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Hi everyone, hopefully you've been enjoying so far our winter weather special, my winter forecast right there. You heard it, it looks like we may be getting a less than average winter. I'm predicting again 17.5 inches of snow. But we all have different ideas here and the whole gang is assembled. I've got Amy Aronson, Justin Chambers, and of course Jasmine Lomax, and we're all gonna give you our ideas, thoughts, and we'll find out right now exactly if we're all on the same page or not, whether we agree. So we'll start with you, Amy. What do you think about this upcoming winter?
So I think I actually am probably the lowest at the table here. I went towards the lower end. I said 14 inches of snow, but I did look into all the different factors. I think the problem this year is there's going to be like competing factors. So we're obviously going to be going into a weak La Nina, which tends to favor less snow than usual. But then there's some factors like the North Atlantic Oscillation, plus the snow in Siberia, which would send Arctic air southward into our region and could result in, you know, some hefty snowfall totals. So I think it's going to be a battle between the two, but I'm always more conservative when I forecast. So I went towards the lower end of things. Also, I was looking at temperatures, and I do think they'll be hovering above average. So I think that would bring our snowfall totals down. So
good in-depth analysis.
We'll see. If you don't like snow, maybe favor my forecast. I don't know. It's a toughie. It's like the hardest thing to forecast looking ahead at the winter.
All the things that you looked at and the fact that most people don't even realize you look at snow in Siberia to forecast our weather here. Yes, we have to look at weather patterns across the entire world. And again, El Nino, La Nina is just one of those pieces. So very good analysis. You think it's going to be a much lower than average, but you know what? I think you're very close to what we had this last season.
I was going to say last year that was the trend, so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
All right, so she's going for a repeat. Let's go to Justin Chambers now. You've been looking at this a lot, so what do you think?
I'm not going all sciencey. I mean, look, I did look at the
Coin
science
toss?
stuff. Yeah, but I'm also going just kind of on the feel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going. I'm going with how it feels in my bones. And my whole family is from Baltimore, and obviously my wife grew up here, and she had a really bad winter when she was a kid. I mean, you got to go back to '96, and that was a really crazy winter. I mean, it was 60, 70 inches of snow. And they used to have big winters around
People
here.
say that all the time.
Yep.
We don't have big winters anymore.
And we
Is it real?
We really don't.
Okay.
You got to look back. I mean, remember a couple years ago we had the snowless winter. It was like 0.2 inches of snow, and even last year was pretty paltry.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling. I've got a feeling.
Right in the gut.
Yeah, I got a feeling. I feel like we're overdue. 2016. We're going to be at 10 years now, essentially, since the last real big winter that we had.
Okay.
And so I'm feeling like it's going to be more. I agree with you guys on the above average temperatures. I know about the La Nina and all that other stuff, but I just have a feeling that we're going to get like a couple of big storms, and it's going to pump us up to 23.6.
Oh, okay.
Very exact.
23.6.
He's the high number right here.
I'm the high one, yeah.
Okay.
Again, I don't think it's not going to be like all crazy winter, but I think it's like January and February. We're going to get a couple of big storms, and then that's going to get
Sometimes going with your gut's the right thing.
Yeah.
We're all a bunch of brains here. We're a bunch of weather nerds, but once in a while you're like, I'm feeling it right here, y'all.
I'm feeling it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's very interesting. All right, we're going to go to Jasmine now. She is kind of the climatology guru of us here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
She stares at numbers that go back, and I can ask her any question, and she can figure it out.
She knows it.
It's amazing. All right, Jasmine, give us what you think.
So I'm kind of with Amy on the lower end of things. So I'll give you my number. I went with 15 inches. I think we're going to be below average in snowfall. So all of our La Nina years, and that's what we're expecting, all but 2 have had below average snowfall. The last 2 weak La Nina years, below average snowfall. However, I do want to say that we could have a big snow. It's possible. You mentioned 95, 96.
Yep.
That was our second snowiest winter, and it was a weak La Nina.
Okay.
She knows.
Wow.
She knows. You just said in
The
encyclopedia.
numbers.
She's like, boom, pulled it right out. I love it. I love it.
Well, I want to also say good job from last season. You know, we got 5 out of 6 last winter storms on the nose for the forecasting, despite what the naysayers say. We got proof. We can show you guys. And that is a pretty good record, and I'm hoping we can do that again. So we have our individual numbers, and we have our average, which we'll put up on the screen right here. And that is going to be essentially what the team average is for our winter. But of course, we have our individuals. I'm going to think of a good award to give out to whoever comes closest. Not Price is Right, actual closest to
Without
the winter
going
toast.
over.
Without going
you have
over.
to do Price is Right rules.
You want to do Price is Right rules?
You have to.
All right.
If it's 23.7, I win because I didn't go over. So I'm right near it.
Oh, God.
But I'm probably going to mess up the whole averages with the rest of y'all because.
What if we all go over?
If you, it's a quadruple
Oh,
over bid.
quadruple.
That's the worst. That's
Okay.
like worse than a double over.
I agree.
Quadruple over bid's the worst.
I'm going 1 inch, everybody. 1 inch. 1 inch is not.
That's perfect.
Good way
Bob
to do
Barker
it.
would love that.
Yes, he would.
Yes, he would.
All right, so now we all covered different aspects of what we're going to talk about with the winter. And of course, there are fun things, there are some crazy things, but the one thing that I remember, or at least recall, even though I didn't live here, was the Snowmageddon winter. Seeing it from afar was nuts. And Amy, you were here for that, your first winter?
Yeah, exactly. So 10 years ago, I can't believe it was my first winter here in Baltimore. And yeah, we had our biggest snowstorm on record. It was definitely memorable. So take a look back. I want to remind you all what 2 feet plus of snow can do for us right here in Baltimore. Come take a trip with me back to January 2016, where we had snow higher than the height of my daughter here, who's just about 3 feet tall. Actually, check this out. Yeah, that was me after digging out my car. And I wasn't alone. The storm stopped drivers all around Maryland. Now let's backtrack and talk about how we all got to this point. 10 years ago, we had the warmest December on record, with highs near 70 degrees on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in Baltimore. A very cold January followed, plus El Nino. Tons of moisture and energy plus Arctic air was the perfect recipe for a big blizzard to barrel up the East Coast.
Larry, it's not really a fun snow day until you make a snow angel.
All right, let's see. Watch this. Okay. I'm going to fall over and you'll see why it won't work. Can't see me. All right, see?
A 2-day snow event with snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour added up to Baltimore's biggest snowstorm on record, with 29.2 inches of snow at BWI Airport. Here's a look back at some of the other big snowfall totals from this storm. Jacksonville got buried in 30 inches of snow and over 23 inches in spots like Essex. Marylanders were snowed in, and those that tried to trek out got stuck. It took lots of shoveling, snowmelt, pushing, emergency crews, towing, and pulling to get drivers where they needed to be. The best way to travel around the snowy streets was actually by snowboard.
I think it's kind of like wakeboarding, surfing, and snowboarding all in one.
Even when the storm ended, the travel woes continued. The blizzard left behind big piles of snow everywhere. Side streets were slow to clear, especially in Baltimore City.
It's pretty bad when the snow plows get stuck.
From the roads to the skies, BWI Airport also took days to plow truckloads of snow and melt it off on their runways and signs. The big question is, will this be the winter we see a snow that shuts down Baltimore? We definitely don't have all the ingredients from January 2016. We're not in an El Nino, but we have seen nor'easter-type storms during the fall season. And it only takes one big storm to make history. I'm meteorologist Amy Aronson, Fox 45 News. So as you can see, the theme was everybody was getting stuck, including myself. I actually could not get to work here at the station, and my news director at the time had to come pick me up at my house in his pickup truck, and that is how I got to work that day.
Why didn't they come pick you up in the storm tracker? I don't understand.
I don't know. They were using a pickup truck. They were bringing us all where we needed to be, but even I was like, I can drive in this. I can dig out my car. I'm from Pennsylvania. I went out. I could not get my car out of the driveway.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
crazy. So prepare yourselves just in case we see something.
And just so everyone
magnitude.
notices here, even meteorologists we don't get snow days off. We work harder and harder.
No, that's
so.
when we have to work. That's when we take our vacations in like
Right.
October when nothing's happening. Then we got to be here for the snow.
We were here for 2 days straight for that storm. Yeah,
Jeez.
it was crazy.
We sometimes shack up. We even might take naps on the couches out here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal when we have big snows around here. But, you know, we all have our thoughts about what we want to see, okay? We have forecasts. We have wish casts. You know, I kind of like snow. It's kind of cool. But, Justin, you went out and actually talked to other people about what they were hoping for this winter.
It was really interesting, too, because everybody has an opinion. And especially here in Baltimore, people are like, okay, we got to get the snow. Some people really like the snow. Some people don't like the snow. And some people just want it to snow in their own neighborhood and in their own way.
Good luck.
This is what I was talking about with the FOX45 Snow Box. Take a look. People have varying opinions of snow in Baltimore and snow in general. It's a nice sunny day now, but we know what could be coming our way this winter, and that's why we introduced the FOX45 Snow Box. Morning, how are you? It's just real quick. Just take like a minute of your time. Okay, no worries. So we're just gonna have you step right up there, and we're just gonna kind of ask you, a couple of questions.
Do I speak into this, or do I look?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand over there, and you
Okay.
just look at me the whole time. So, are you a snow fan?
I love the snow, not to drive in it, but I love the snow in general.
In theory, when I don't have to go out in it.
I don't mind it because my kids love it. I personally do not like it and prefer for my husband to go out and play with them when it snows.
Well, what about the fact that we haven't had a lot of snow so far in the last couple of years? Do you like that?
I like that because I've been working remote from home and I don't have to go clean off my car and get out on the road.
Yeah, I like the time off from school or work, but now work is like, nah, we need you to come in. It's not bad when the roads are clear over here.
We may get a big winter this winter. So, excitement or anger?
Well, I wouldn't say anger. I would say a bit of nervousness. I would like it for a day, but blizzards don't work like that. So first of all, school would shut down for like a week, which means that my kids and I would be home together.
Which is great.
For about a day. And then it would get a little hairy, I think.
Yeah, and it's been like about 10 years since our last big storm.
It's time for a blizzard, and I will take it with grace.
Oh man, if it's gonna be extreme, yes, but not the little messy stuff. It's just more of an inconvenience than anything else,
Yeah, so that essentially is the soap box, but again, we repurposed it or repositioned it and made it the snow box. And look, people have very strong opinions, whether it's pro-snow or anti-snow. That's the whole thing.
Something tells me the people that really like the snow don't have to shovel it.
That's exactly it.
Or don't have to leave their houses.
They're like, look, I love watching it and I love seeing it and I have my kids playing it, but like, I don't want to have to like drive in it, like Amy getting stuck. We don't want that.
Other than the dads that got that brand new snowblower, can't wait to try it out.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
the ones.
Yeah,
It's
so.
backbreaking sometimes. All right, well, thanks, Justin. Great story. All right, now, Jasmine, obviously, getting rid of snow is not as easy as we all think. Obviously, if we have our own driveways and cars to clear, but the roads are the things that we care about and being able to get around. So you were able to talk to the Department of Transportation?
Yeah, the State Highway Administration, they're the ones that go out and make sure that the roads are safe for first responders, but for also those who can't take a snow day like us who have to come into work. Take a look at how they handle operations before, during, and after snow.
Snow hasn't yet fallen in Baltimore, but for the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration, work to keep our roads safe begins long before the first snowflake touches the ground. I spoke with Charlie Gischler from the State Highway Administration on the critical role his office plays to make our roads safe when winter weather strikes.
Yeah, so first it's important to know what roads we maintain. We maintain the state-numbered, non-tolled highways, like Maryland 45 is York Road, Maryland 139 is Charles Street, of course I-695, I-83 and the interstates. Our role is to make sure we continue to make sure the pavement is safe and passable, for our first responders and for people who do have to go out.
They try to do this 6 or 7 hours after precipitation ends, but the State Highway Administration also acts before winter weather begins.
What we generally do before a storm, we have a contractor meteorologist, and they track the storms. And then we have a pre-storm meeting with all the decision makers, all the maintenance folks, everybody involved in the storm itself. And we get on the same page, and the technology with forecasting weather, with timing charts and that type of thing, we're able to smart deploy crews to areas.
The steps they take to treat roads depend on the type of winter weather expected. For example, with snowstorms, they use a salt brine solution.
You've probably seen those squiggly lines on the roadway in advance of a storm. So it's sprayed on the highways in the days before the storm. We can go up to 2 or 3 days. And it's allowed to drive, and it creates a thin film of salt on the road. So when the precipitation does begin, it turns it into like a slushy solution so that our crews can get out there, and it's easier to move than any kind of just a hard snowpack.
The process gets a little more complicated when freezing rain and mixed precipitation events happen.
The salt brine is only good to about 20 degrees, maybe a little bit cooler, but not much, because then it will just freeze on the highway. So we have to introduce something. We might have to spray it with liquid magnesium or mix it with liquid magnesium, and that helps lower the freezing point so that we are able to get down to some of the sub-zero temperatures.
Knowing what type of winter weather we're expecting is crucial for the State Highway Administration and how they treat roads. And now, they're also implementing new technology to determine road conditions around the state.
We have roadside sensors all across the state on the roads that we maintain that are infrared on our weather stations. So we're able to tell relative humidity, dew point, possible freezing points. And if that infrared sensor is on a moving vehicle, conditions can change. I'm thinking 83 as an example, from Timonium, Maryland to Parkton, Maryland. It could be 1 degree that can make the difference between a wet roadway and a roadway that's about to freeze up.
Gischler emphasized that the best way to help during winter weather is by staying off the roads and staying informed.
Number one, don't go out if you don't have to during a storm. For your own good, but also it helps us be unencumbered.
But if you do have to go out,
make sure your vehicle's road ready, your tires are good, the tread's good on that, all the vehicle lighting systems are good. And we always say take it slow on ice and snow, okay?
And remember, never crowd or pass snowplows.
Stay a few car lengths behind them, and you've got a just cleared highway. They're your frontline warriors, if you will. Be safe this winter.
Gischler mentioned that there are many resources to stay informed on where snowplows have been. This includes statewide Operation Resources Map or STORM. You can view that with live traffic cameras at roads.maryland.gov. And of course, when winter weather strikes, your FOX45 Weather Authority will be here to guide you through the storm and keep you safe.
Great story. Storm, that's an easy one to remember too, so everyone can get out and actually see what the roads look like from all the traffic cameras. And a great, valuable service because we could not go anywhere without those guys out there cleaning roads.
And
so.
plus we have our storm tracker, so we'll be out and about, you know, this season, throwing me or you in there while we drive around and figure it out, you know. So
it's a lot to get out there to cover every single road. And well, I know they worked as hard as they can covering the most important ones first, and eventually they get to everyone. But you know, it is a hard job for them to do, and we're always appreciative of what they can do. But we got to be patient. Remember, it's not easy.
What do you guys think, in your opinion, like just talking meteorologist and all of our careers, like what's been your hardest thing to do with your forecasting for the winter? Like what's some of the biggest challenges each of you have had?
I think here in Maryland, it is very hard with precipitation type because we get so many mixed precipitation events, and that can either verify or bust a forecast just where that rain, snow, mix line sets up. We see that all the time in the winter here. We're just,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just 1 degree difference makes all the difference. And you know, not many people notice a 1 degree difference on a 75 versus a 76-degree day, but that's the difference between a slushy ½ inch of snow or a pile of 6 inches deep. And that's obviously an extremely difficult thing to forecast. So I agree, hit it on the nose. That is the toughest.
What about you?
I would say the rain-snow line, that's a big one. And I talked to someone from the National Weather Service, and he said that's one of the biggest challenges that they have with forecasting here in Maryland. You can have rain in one area, snow in another, and then that mixed precipitation, especially with it being a La Nina year. I think that's something we could see a lot of.
Yeah, my biggest challenge is, like, I worked in the Front Range in Colorado, and that was incredibly hard because there's so many microclimates, you know, and when you get the snow coming off the Rockies, and then, you know, it's 10 inches in Monument, and then it's sunny and 60 in Pueblo. So that's what I dealt with there. But then here with the water, and that's the biggest thing for me and the hardest challenge.
The marine layer.
Yeah, the marine layer, the fact that we have so much more moisture to work with. But I think the biggest thing is it going to snow in my neighborhood, and will my kid's soccer game be canceled?
When will it hit my house, Justin?
How much am I going to get? I don't care about Timonium. I live in Parkville. I don't care how much is going to happen in my neck of the woods.
What's $1 million question.
Yeah, that's a good question. And remember, people can go outside their own house with a ruler and get 10 different measurements in their own front yard too. And you know, some people just look outside. Oh, that looks like 4 inches. Well, you know, we're going to hopefully show you guys this season the correct way, the most accurate way to take measurements. And we want those. We want you to send those in. It helps us verify and know what's happened. So use an actual ruler and try to follow the steps we can. And we're hoping that maybe we can get some of your reports in. I'm hoping that next year we can have another kind of a contest. I want to have a snowflake contest with everyone at home involved, where they get to tell us when the exact first full inch of snow falls right here at the FOX45 station. And I'm hoping we can get a prize to them, something worth your while too. So
Sinclair can do it.
We got money.
We can take care of that.
So stay tuned for maybe next season, and we might be able to have a really big contest for that. That would be a lot of fun. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. Thank you. Great pieces, everyone. And hopefully you enjoyed our winter forecast today. We're going to, of course, be watching this like hawks every single day, too. And anytime there is snow, you know who to come to. Your FOX45 Weather Authority will always be here to give you the forecast, snow, storm, or sunshine.